Good morning, everybody. We're going to do a quick video here about the windshield behind me. This is just going to be a quick follow through just to show the little hiccups I made and a quick explanation of how to install this Starknight mirror, which I think is the best mirror on the market, especially for the Honda Pioneer 700s. So let's get to it. Flip you guys around. So obviously when you start this video, or this windshield installment, it is not going to be on your machine. The first piece to install is going to be this bottom piece right here. It'll come with these straps right here that are Velcro, and I wish these could be, you guys see that? See where it latches and it does the Velcro, so it does about half of it Velcros down. Be nice if it did if it was shorter for it, because both sides are about the same, so it is nothing to do with the middle adjustment of this at all. These could be a little shorter, but okay. So anyways, back to installation. This is the first step, or actually the second step in the instructions, but I say this is the first step you do. It helps you just get this piece set where you want it here. These are easier to do than these, so that's what I did. But in the instructions, it'll be the second step. I would make that your first step. You know, I wonder if I could stick these in there so they don't like hang out. Oh, I can. So yeah, I'll do that later. So I'm gonna stick those, they'll fit back through the crack. Moving on from that, so then the second thing was to put these clamps on. These had a little bit of a longer bolt. It has a washer with it. You want to put that washer, you want to put the bolt, the clamp that goes around, and then the washer into the plastic. Pretty simple though. It shows that in the instructions. They never did get tightened all the way down. This is very tight right here, so it has like a gap between there, but that is fine. That worked perfect. This thing is really sturdy on there. I love that it has metal strip right here. I've seen other windshields without this metal strip, and this plastic just bends, so that was perfect. So then the next step was to come and install these clamps by themselves, and I did do that, and it did come with, I guess I got to grab this real quick. It did come with straps that are 3.4 centimeters, or am I saying that right? 34.5 centimeters long, and it says to put it from top of here up to here. So where that strap's supposed to be, this piece should be underneath it like that, and this should be on the top of this strap. Well, I did mount it there on it, and then I went and I mounted these straps, and you're going, well, how did I decide this positioning of these two straps when I went and put the regular thing on? So let's close this, which it closes so perfect, and it looks perfect in there. See how that just hits that just right? That was decided that where this would go on the top was decided where it sits here. Now there's nothing really in the instructions to say where that sits. I put it right, there's a color mark right here. I put it right on top of that color mark all the way down, and that made it where this wasn't squishing really tight, but it was squishing good enough because I had this mirror here on it, so it made it where it squished really tight onto there, and where I liked it. So now back to the positioning of this. But when I installed the shocks onto it, this would not open. It would only open like this. I'm trying to hold it there. It wouldn't open all the way. Now it swings open. So what did I do to achieve that? All I did was move this clamp down from that positioning strip that was the measurement that it had on there. I believe it was 34.5. I'm gonna have to check that. I hope I'm saying that right. 34.5 centimeters. I moved it down. So I had to move that clamp down. Now you can probably adjust that clamp between, you know, I don't know, 10 centimeters maybe. Yeah, I know that when I moved it, it came down to like 30 centimeters or something like that, and it was like 3/4 of an inch. But I think you can move it from 1.5 inches. You can move it to adjust it, and all you have to do is move this clamp up and down to give you the spring it needs to open. Now mine's a little bit slanted up. I could probably adjust it a little bit differently to make it go down, but what also helped me, and this does say in the instructions, it's one of your trouble tips, is that these spin like this, and it'll push out this shock more or push the shock down. It'll make this where it's straight on both sides, and one side isn't tipped and one side isn't tipped. And I did do that adjustment. I didn't have it on any video, but I did do that. So the biggest thing is it asks you to put these strips down. They will be sticky. You can put them down. I did not do that in this step, which I didn't want to take my mirror off to do that. But this, I made this. This isn't the strip. I made this because I threw those strips away. I made this the same length. This is the 34.5 centimeters. And like I showed you here, you can see how much I moved that down. Like I said, I think it's like 4 centimeters or so, like it's 3/4 of an inch down. I moved it. But that made it where this thing would just spring open. As it does, it just springs right open, no problem. You can, whoops, I missed it. You can close it, no problem. I did that, that's with one hand. I'm holding the camera with the other hand. It just springs right shut, and you just flap it up and it goes right open, no problem. So that was adjustment needed. It might be different for everybody else. And what's gonna make that adjustment different, I wanna make sure everybody knows, it wasn't Starknightmt's instructions. It was maybe the fact that in the instructions, it doesn't say where to put this, where to put this next glass on top of the first glass. And like I said, mine's at a position where I made it where it's gonna close because my mirror's here. You might not have a mirror here. You might want this to be a little flatter, so you might try to move the windshield up a little bit, and that would make the difference in the gappage here where you're gonna have to adjust this to make it work. That's why I wouldn't put those straps down, because everybody's adjustment might be a little different. Now, you do have to be careful when you come here, because if you adjust that too much, let's see if I get that. You adjust that too much, this piece would be nice if it was longer, but then you don't want it too long, because then if somebody wants it to be farther down, then it'll hit here. So it's kind of like, you got to put your windshield where this is also going to grab that bottom one. And that was something I was worried about at the very beginning, is where that was going to grab. So where I picked to have it set on here, like I said, you have a discoloration strip right here on that bottom one. I put it right on top of it, all the way down it. And that ended up working really good for me. But like I said, it will give you, I don't know if you guys can see that, it will give you a little bit gap. I did it for this mirror. I bet you everybody's gonna have a mirror, so that gap they're gonna probably want, but you could try to put this up in there higher that way. But like I said, the closer you get it to here, the higher it goes, the less chance this is gonna grab to open and close it. And when I first put this windshield on, that grabbing area was what I was worried about, because I wasn't able to grab it because I had it too high, and then I had to readjust this down so it would grab onto that. So it's all just trial and error, guys. Every windshield is like this. Not one windshield is perfect, because they always come in 2 separate pieces, especially with these flip open ones. So you got to use a little bit of your own knowledge and mechanics to make sure that works. I hope this video helps you guys out a little bit, and I hope this helps Starknightmt to understand that it wasn't anything to do with their instructions. If I would have put this up higher, you know, just by 3/4 of an inch, their strip would have worked perfect for the location of this, and it would have opened it. But you guys just got to understand that it's where you're gonna mount this top glass is going to make the difference of where this is going to be. It's going to be where these are. So not necessarily from this to this. It needs to be a distance between here to here is going to be the one that's going to play the part in if it opens or closes. You know what? I'm going to take that measurement real quick, just for fun. Let me hit pause real quick. All right, grab the measuring tape real quick, guys. Let's get her pulled out. So let's see what that is from that to that. 2 3/8, almost a 1/2 inch. So almost 2.5 inches is where I have mine at, but it's 2, to be exact, it's 2 3/8 is where I have mine. So from the bottom of this to the top of this is 2 3/8. So that's really the measurement that we should be trying to achieve. So once you put this on, the big windshield on, then it was up to me. I would change all these steps. I would literally put the windshield on with those top clamps, put them slightly snug, you know, and then make sure that this is the height you want it from the bottom one, where you want it. Make sure that latches how you want it, and then come and install this clamp with your shocks. That's how I would honestly do it, Starknightmt. I know I've switched a lot in your instructions around. I told you the second instruction should be the first instruction should be the second. Now I'm trying to tell you to swap this out, to have the person, which you do, no you don't actually, you tell us to put this clamp on at that 34.5 centimeters from the top of this clamp, and then you tell us to install the glass. Well, you have no idea where this is going to need to be until you install these and tell yourself where you want your glass to be. And everybody's idea of this is going to be different. Where they want it to be, they're going to want it low like I have it. When I first put it on, it was actually down here where my finger is. I moved it up to here. Somebody's going to want it to be moved up higher. It just matters what they have on their bar here and how much snug they want against the bar for the gasket to work. So then the last step should be coming in installing this and then the shock. And I would tell them somewhere between here to go 2 3/8 down to 2.5 inches down, and it will make the windshield pop open. That would be my change of instructions again. And another thing I didn't tell you guys about, I bragged, and I still am bragging, because this is the best windshield I've ever had. And I've had other brands, I'm not going to insult them, but I've had other brands and they're not like this one. I love these metal strips, one here, one here. It really makes it where this is sturdy. I've already taken out on a test drive. You know, it has a very minimal vibration, but every windshield has vibration. The only difference I would have did maybe is up here. It would have been nice if they would have put another metal strip up here to make this stronger, because that's the only thing you can see on it that looks like, if you guys can see that it's like warping a little bit. So if there would have been a metal strap here also, this thing would have been bulletproof to me, 100% bulletproof. So still, like I said, I still think how it is right now, even without that metal strip, it's the best windshield I've ever had. Go buy one from Starknightmt. I hope this short little quick video explains it a little bit better for you guys, and keep the powder dry, and God bless, and we'll see you guys on the next one.